Deadstream.
Yes.
I don't have stuff in front of me.
Was it
Deadstream?
Deadstream? Was this a project or a film that you were aware of?
I knew nothing about it. I saw the box or whatever, the cover.
Okay.
It reminded me of something else I've seen for another horror movie. I forget what it's called. I think House.
I remember that. Yeah, House. Yeah, with the like creepy monster hand over the house. Man, that's a throwback 80s flick. Like the tall guy from Night Court was in that too. Man, I remember being super small seeing that. Yeah, exactly.
But I saw that. I'm like, oh, this looks kind of similar to this. And it was nothing because I thought it would be like super, super, super freaky and gory. I watch it. The intro is kind of like gripping and engaging. And well, actually, it's gripping and engaging the wrong way. It's cringe, which is what they're going for. The cringe fucking, 30-something streamer who's like an obnoxious asshole. And you're like, God, I hate these fucking people. And they do it perfect because the whole time, I'm like, this guy is so fucking irritating, which is what they're going for. Uh-huh. And some of it's kind of funny. Like, what they call it the baby Moses. He puts himself in a fucking raft on the river.
Yeah, that was funny.
So I'm like, that's kind of humorous. Yeah. And then I get into it, and their use, I thought it was so, because it's low production shit. Like, it's anything like, it's low production. It was made by a husband-wife combo. Yeah. Been in the industry for a long time. No real success. Came out with this. It did very well with very little budget. Other film festivals. But you look at it and you see like the overlay they did with the Twitch-like stream was just so well. I haven't seen a movie do that where it's like you have two movies. You got the chat. It's like a live stream. You had the chat, and even the stuff they had was accurate. Like some of it would be like the guy is like in horrific danger, and some people would be like, "What's your favorite kind of cat?" Like people like just didn't care, and some people did care. Or, some people were making fun of them, like you're a pussy if you don't go in there. And I thought that was a funny juxtaposition. They took a chance. It was tongue in cheek, fitting of the times. Because really big in explanations. I don't know if you saw this. It was very quick. I was like, wait, okay, jokes aside, why haven't the cops showed up by now? Like, is there a force field? And somebody says the cops think it's a prank. You could actually believe that, right? Like, what if he set it all up? Like, who's to say someone has a sucking chest wound? You could have set it up with special effects. They could have thought he was setting it all up and said that this guy has been known as like a troll. And so they said that. I'm like, that's actually good justification. Like, why didn't the cops show up? Because they probably thought it was a prank. And they're like, no, I'm not going to go there.
It's cool. It's inspiring. Again, you sent me a text yesterday, I think, about this because we were going to watch Enemy, and we decided on this instead because you had just watched it. And you got me hooked. As soon as you say watch this, don't look it up, don't watch a trailer, that's an immediate pull for me in the right direction. So yeah, I jumped into this. I had the initial expectation just based on the cover art of the poster or whatever's on I think I got AMC. Regardless, I thought it was going to be along the lines of, I knew it was going to be a found footage type deal because I read like the first sentence of the premise, but I thought it was going to be one of those episodic deals. You know what I mean? Where they do like 30 minutes and then 30 minutes and it's 3 different stories in one film. But I was pleasantly surprised that this was all set in basically the house outside of his little intro at the beginning where, again, he's kind of an annoying online personality and he played that character really, really well. I guess in hindsight, it's more of a parody than anything else. And it has intentional humor in it, which I kind of took at the beginning as just being, oh, this is low budget. Like the makeup is kind of lacking. And there are a few things that you could tell they would have done much better had they had more money behind it. But it was completely entertaining, man. Like from minute 1 to the last second, I was engaged. And there were some legitimate jump scares in this. And that's cool. Because a lot of jump scares, we've talked about this so many times, they come from just loud noises that happen when you're watching something, and that's the scare. It's not even about what's happening on camera, it's the sound. It's cheap. This was good. I think the biggest jump scare that got me was whatever that thing was. It was under the bed, under the sheets. Some of the noises, they were all used and they all had purpose behind them, if that makes sense. Nothing was just thrown in there for any sort of cheap reaction from an audience. Joseph Winter is the guy who stars in this, and he's in every single frame. He's an online personality who basically wants to regain his following by entering this house that's supposed to be haunted and has this crazy history behind it. His performance, again, was really good. He's annoying, and I kind of got annoyed towards the end, the fact that he just keeps paying attention to his online audience. It's played a little more lighthearted than I would like for it to be. I kind of wanted it to see, when shit hits the fan and he really realizes he's in a fucked up situation, like it's legitimately haunted, there are ghosts. I would love to have seen his character turn and be just legitimately distraught, terrified, just having more doom lingering over him instead of constantly going to the camera and kind of saying offhanded comments and making light of things. But I guess that's sort of tied into the whole parody element of the story.
He does. He has a moment where he's like, I'm genuinely sorry. This isn't just me saying it, or he does.
Yeah, he does. And you realize this is just the type of person he is. He's just naturally annoying, probably to most people, and certainly to me. So yeah, he did a really good job in this role. I'd be really interested to know what he's like in real life, if he's anything like this character or if he's completely different. Yeah, because he and his wife directed this. I can't imagine they had a big budget behind it. It says here it made the box office gross it made over $1 million, which I seriously doubt they sunk $1 million into this. I would think maybe 200, 300,000 tops. I mean,
I was going to say 200.
Yeah, that's my guess. It was really good, man. I liked it, and I love shit like this. It's inspiring. Again, this goes back to the Strange Darling thing that we talked about. These are people who were obviously, I would assume, having very little success in an industry and an art form that they love. So they probably took a risk and did this, and they came up with something pretty special, man. It's really cool to see this.
I was surprised. I got kind of like Jedi mind tricked when I was like, they even have a theme. Mm-hmm. It was, the chick was the old social media whore. Like, she just wanted fucking attention.
Yep.
She wanted everyone to love, so she took advantage of a publisher.
Right.
Like, she didn't love the guy. She was using the guy opportunistically to get her shit out. She isn't in love with the guy. She's a fucking narcissist. Just like you hear these celebrities where it's like, 20-year-old chick with 55-year-old guy, and you're like, we're in it for the money. Like, duh. Mm-hmm. And this woman was in it for just like, hey, he's a publisher, he can publish my shit. Like, yeah. And then she kills herself because, lo and behold, the guy that was supposed to make her famous is dead. She wasn't in love with him. He was the one to make her famous. And now he's gone, and she just gave up. She did a great job, too. Like, when she was initially in human form, she plays it really well. It's funny, too, when the only time she gets pissed, or he's like, these poems suck. And she's like, what? No, they don't. Like, she's all pissed about it.
Yeah. Yeah, she was good. I mean, you could kind of see it coming for all the shit that was happening before she showed up, and all of a sudden the door opens and there's this human being there, and he is crazy relieved. But there's more to this situation. But it was cool how they played it out, and she did do a really good job. One thing I want to know, I don't know if you have an opinion on this or if you've even thought about it. Do you think they shot this chronologically? I would think they would have to. Because I was thinking, with a story like this that is told in chronological format, if you tried to shoot this out of order, it would be so difficult. So I really wonder what they did. I would love to know or find out if anyone knew.
Why would it be difficult to do it chronologically?
To not do it chronologically. To shoot it out of order. Why
would it be difficult?
Oh, you think about the way this character looks, his style, like the blood that's on him. I mean, you want it to be consistent there with everything. And if you're going out of order, then you've really got to go back and get things back. That's number one. But also your camera shots are so specific, and they're following this character. They're attached to this character the entire story, and you're all throughout this house. And if you're, I don't see how that would even be doable. Yeah, and we can all relate to that feeling of being alone. And I mean, that's for me the most terrifying part of this story, is having the balls or the stupidity, whatever you want to call it, to go into a situation like this and spend the night or whatever. I'm sure it happens online. I would assume some live streamers on YouTube have already done this, but you can put yourself in this guy's shoes pretty quickly. That lends to the element of fear and relatability that this represents. But it was well written. It was good. And even the little elements of him breaking that thing that was supposed to ward off the evil spirits, and then how to try to get his soul back. And the story was told well, and the little bit of backstory with the house and the characters and what was going on there.
So again, they did a great job of the use of their, I want to say, environment.
Yeah, and it's great commentary on just today. And you mentioned the comments on there. Did you say Twitch? Is that what they do on Twitch with the live streams? They have comments pop up, I'm assuming. I've never been on there.
On your right side, you got a panel of comments.
Okay.
Most of the comments are in line with what's going on for the most part. Unless they don't like you, then they're making fun of you. And then you have off the wall ones that'll be like, hey, look at these tits, some random thing. You're like, what was that?
Yeah.
And then it'll be like stuff on topic. Then it'll be stuff like hating the person, and like a whole mix. But they did a good job of like mixing stuff.
That was another thing I was going to ask you. I mean, what do you think about this element of our culture and our society. I guess it's just exposing certain things and personalities. And obviously anyone can watch this sort of shit and anyone can comment. But if someone, a human being, is in legitimate peril and people are making offhanded comments like just go die and horrible shit like that, which happens all the time. I mean, do you have an opinion on that and people who kind of feed into that negativity?
Yeah, it might be surprising because, I mean, look, I've been on a computer my whole life, basically. Not to make myself special, but like I saw video games from nothing to now. I saw esports from nothing to now. I saw streaming from nothing to now. I saw social media. So I had a Facebook account the first few months it came out.
I don't know if you remember this. I was living at Bishop's Landing apartment in Norman, Oklahoma, just next to the football stadium. I seriously doubt this apartment complex still exists, but you came over, and this was just after we met, and introduced me to this. And I believe it was the Facebook at that point.
Yeah, so it was.
Fucking crazy, man.
Yeah, so I mentioned that because I've been around since the beginning of this shit. And so this is now I'm saying it all as like a credibility for what I'm about to say. I've yet to see something where it's like something legitimately bad. A variety streamer. A variety streamer is like a person that does like different shows, different video games. They're just kind of like there for just general entertainment. I've never seen a variety streamer under some serious peril. Like, I actually have cancer. I want to tell you guys I won't be streaming. And then people be assholes. I've seen people be assholes when they don't like you. When like you probably aren't a very great person. Most of these people online are fucking narcissistic personalities. They're not likable. They're just bombastic. You look at the Pauls. That's why actually I disagree with you on the I wish you'd have gotten more serious. Jake Paul got infamous. I mean, besides being a piece of shit, just like his brother, because they are just horrible commentary. They're the rich white trash of society. Like, it's just disgusting.
The rich white trash.
Yeah. Jake Paul went to Japan or some shit, and some stuff so bad there in terms of fertility rates and, people playing games all day and jacking off the anime. When I'm not being funny either. There's a pretty high suicide rate of men, right? And so they go out to these forests and they'll hang themselves, kill en masse. And so Jake Paul's there doing some live stream. And they're like, whoa, dude, what is that, man? Whoa, man. And it's like a dude that hung himself. And it's a live stream. He's like, oh, guys, this is crazy. He's talking like he cares, but then it's kind of humorous. He's wearing a fucking stupid hat, too. It's some fucking goldfish hat or something fucking retarded.
Right.
And he's genuinely whoa, what's going on here? This is wild. And he got in a lot of trouble because people are like, you really seem like you don't give a shit. That dude is fucking dead. And you're streaming it like something entertaining. It's not entertaining. It's horrible. Yeah. So that's where I disagree. I wish you'd have come out no, these people are narcissistic, screwed up people.
Well, when that kind of behavior is rewarded, then that's what you do, and you turn up the volume. From what I've seen from those guys, the Paul brothers, they're no strangers to that. They understand the system and how it works. I mean, let's be honest. The system is fucked up. I mean, it's sad where things are, but they understand it and they play that game, and they've done a hell of a job at marketing themselves. And I didn't know that about the forest, and I heard it at one point, but they were actually in the woods in China and around a dead body, a guy who hung himself. That was online, and they were talking about it. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he got banned. Yeah, they're not this is saying. Jesus. He didn't exactly say it, but I'll say this the rest of my life. I don't respect the hustle ever. No. I have no respect ever for any kind of where you hear the mobsters he really did make an enterprise out of them. He did. Come on, hold on. He made an enterprise out of the drug trade. I'm yeah, he's a piece of shit. Yeah. I don't care if he's enterprising. He's a piece of shit. Or these online streamers. Hey, Dan, you got to say it. He knows how to get attention. I'm no, I don't have to say it. I think it's horrible. I don't think it's hard, by the way. It's being the worst weasel of the weasel. That's a horrible thing to reward, and even just in conversation. I hate that we do it. You should look it up because you won't see anything. I think it's all blanked out. At first they're not sure, and then he it's you're pretending to care. He's whoa, dude, oh no, man, that's so screwed up, man. Whoa, and you're what? Yeah, you really don't care. Stop the stream, call the cops. Right. Get the body down if you want. I would get. Maybe you shouldn't touch that. I would. It's because it's undignified. I feel bad. I'd want to put the person to rest for Christ's sake.
It's where things are, unfortunately. But yeah, these are the people that kids are looking up to, right? How fucked up is that?
We've seen that even annoying people, they stick around. The
sells, balls. It sells. The Kardashians, all these people. I mean, they have, then maybe they're painted in that light. I'm sure they're okay with it, or maybe they have some delusion about being kind of heroic in a weird way, or idols. Maybe they are to some people. I don't know. But I do know Logan Paul. I think he's the older one. He, yeah, I mean, the guy, and we just saw this Jake Paul, Mike Tyson shit recently. And that, I mean, I read those guys made 20 plus million each for this bullshit boxing match that was really fucking dumb, in my opinion. But Logan Paul, he's been hired by WWE, the wrestling company, and he's been performing for I think about 2 years now. And I'll give the guy credit. He's extremely talented for being new, and he's incredibly athletic. He's really gifted in that space. But back to this behavior and this attention being rewarded is anyone can do something controversial online and garner a lot of clicks. And that's the thing. Where's the art behind that besides just setting up a camera and saying some dumb shit? And then all of a sudden you're famous. Weird.
I'll talk about any category. You hear about stuff like singing, right? Like Bradley Cooper, okay, on Star Was Born. People are like, he's actually really good. You know, he's actually really good. Okay, when I hear really good, and we're talking about the top echelon society, really good to me is Mozart level. Not Mozart, but his, maybe a step lower too, where we're talking like if you got 1 million people and you gave them the best everything, you gave 1 million people the best everything, only one would emerge like this. That's how I feel actually special, actually special. When I hear about that with a Paul or with Bradley Cooper or like the Ray Charles that Jamie Foxx turned into, I hear people that had some really, talent, a lot of money, a lot of great training. Yeah. Sure, they dedicated to it probably because of their dysfunction, and they're probably very good. Very good. Are they genius? Are they era-defining? Are they exceptional? Are they excellent? No. Just like acting, when people are like, he's actually, for being a rapper, he was surprised. I'm like, yeah, because it's not impressive. They're very good, sure, but they're not like what I would call like, now that person's a one. Like you can't recreate that. Like you just can't find it. That's what I think is special. And we've just lowered our bar so much that people that are like when people say like this guy got 3 months time he got ripped, you got to give him. I'm like, no, because he had the top trainers, the top everything. Full dedication, a $20 million paycheck, all these things, yada, 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 yada. If you take some really driven or dysfunctionally driven people, I bet they all would come out probably very good.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about that stuff. I don't think it's necessarily right. That's my bar.
I agree. And once you have the time or once you have the money, the biggest thing that you can get from that or the notoriety, and you can drop everything and make it your full-time job, and you're awarded the gift of time to train and prepare and do all this stuff. And again, you have the best resources you would think in the world to perfect or try to perfect what you're doing or get as high as you can go. But yeah, I agree with you. I do. And that's just, call it an imbalance, whatever you want. It's just that comes with the territory of stuff like that. But I agree. I think these things are applauded more than they should be a lot of times, because rarely you'll see an artist come along, whether it's an actor, a musician, or something like that, and you're taken aback, and you're just like, wow, like this is God-given, incredible gift that's heightened by their dedication to what they love and what they've decided to do with their lives. We don't see that too much.
I'm not always trying to be counter. You're talking about the Paul. I don't know professional wrestling. I get it that it's a thing, as much as they make fun of it. It's a thing. And I bet there are top people, Hogan, people that really just, they were someone different. And then you tell me about Paul, I would just venture he's not. I would venture it's the same thing, where it's like he had the top people around him for years, millions, nothing else but just that focused. And people are now going to say like, yeah, I got to give him, like, he fits in. And I'm like, yeah, but is that like a top tier like distinction? Probably not.
No, you're exactly right. He's not a trailblazer in that sense, but I think I'm speaking at it more from his in-ring ability as far as athleticism goes. He won't be a groundbreaking character like Hulk Hogan, The Rock, Stone Cold. There are a handful of these guys that changed the industry, and they had the crowd, 20,000 people in an arena in the palm of their hands wherever they went, and that is a gift. That's an X factor. Hogan was shit in the ring. You can ask anyone. He had 4 moves. He was not a good wrestler, performer between the ropes, but he had that charisma, man. He could just connect with an audience, and that's why he became what he became. Logan Paul, I would dare to say, will never scratch the surface of getting close to that. I'm sure he wants to, but how the hell do you do that? That's the biggest mystery. There have been probably 5 guys, I would say: John Cena, Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, maybe Andre the Giant, Maybe. A lot of people would say Roman Reigns now. I call bullshit. But anyways, this is not about wrestling. You don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, that's my point. He's really, really, really good in the ring, especially for being so new. But as far as having that superstar essence, nah, not a chance. Anyways, okay, man. So Deadstream, let's dial it back to that. Any other thing you'd like to say about this fine little independent film?
No, I will say, and this is me just being fair, I want to give it a multiplier, but I can't do that. I once said I do rate things within its parameters, right? Horror within horror, whatever. But I also still try and think of everything else. So I want to give it like a 2.5 out of 3. We're still doing our old score, 3. I still want to give it I want to give it something higher than like a 7.5, but I can't. I feel like I'm forcing it then because I'm considering everything around it. The best example is the piece of artwork is either incredible when you see it or not. Just because you find out the backstory, it shouldn't add to it. I'm sorry, because it takes away from the art, right? Like you walk up to it, it's great. So the background is great to know, but I'm going to give it a 7.5. I want to give it higher, but it's not fair to everything else. I'm doing that because I want to say the low budget, they did with what they had. Sorry, it's a 7.5.
Yeah, it's like the underdog story that you want to pull for. Yeah, kind of that.
Yeah.
I get you. Yeah. I had 7.4 right there with you. Watch this movie. It's really cool. Give it attention. It deserves it. We support independent film more and more day by day because this is the wave of the future, I believe. And good for these guys for doing it. I hope they've got something else on the horizon. I really hope they were actually compensated for this instead of producers or a bunch of other people taking the majority of the profit it made. But either way, they got something to be really proud of and to hang their hats on. I assume after they did this and had it all cut together and it was premiering at festivals, South by Southwest and some of the other big ones, that was really fucking exciting. I can kind of put myself in their shoes and imagine what it was like to go out there and watch this finished product and sit in an audience where people enjoy it. I can't think of a more gratifying thing to kind of feel as an artist.